a few days ago on Monday, Attorney General Jeff Sessions, he was speaking to a group of law enforcement personnel, and this is what he had to say during that meeting. He said, "I'm here to announce that President Trump is issuing an executive order that will make it easier to protect yourselves and your communities. He is rescinding restrictions from the prior administration that limited your agency's ability to get equipment through federal programs, including life-saving gear like Kevlar vests and helmets, and first responder and rescue equipment like what they're using in Texas right now."
And I also think, to add to that, he said something about he wants to send the message of law and order.
Okay.
And to me, that kind of sends a signal to law enforcement that, hey, you can use it. It's not that, hey, we're with you in regards to trying to give you equipment that's going to protect you, but it's more of a, when you're sending a message, you're saying, like, hey, y'all can use this as y'all see fit.
But look at his language, though. Life-saving gear like Kevlar vests. Is anybody opposed to Kevlar vests? No. Helmets? No. First responder and rescue equipment? No.
That's purposeful.
Yeah,
he's not mentioning like the tanks and the grenades.
Yes, armored vehicles, grenade launchers, high caliber weapons. He didn't mention any of that. What is that used for? If you're talking about these life-saving gear, things that protect communities and yourselves, what is this other stuff used for? Grenade launchers, high caliber weapons. What is that used for? Why is that type of police presence, that type of police force necessary?
Like they're trying to make
neighborhood streets.
They're trying to make every single situation that law enforcement is involved in like one of like a riot situation,
like war,
war and riots. That's all you see.
Right.
And my thing is, if like, when people get new toys, they're gonna want to use them. When people get new toys, they're gonna want to use them, and they're gonna try to create excuses to use them. So why are we surprised when we see, I guess, an over-exaggerated amount of force being used in certain situations where it's not needed?
We're not anti-cop. We're not anti-police officer. We recognize that the job of a police officer is one of the hardest jobs that one can undertake. They put their lives on the lines. They go out and expose themselves to possibly getting killed. So we recognize the job that has to be done is dangerous. That's why I've always thought that jobs like that, being a police officer, being a firefighter, those should be some of the highest paying jobs in this country. They should be well compensated, way more than they actually are, because those jobs are difficult. But what also has to be done with that compensation is that it has to be scrutinized at the highest level as well.
Yeah,
high scrutiny, high compensation. They got to go hand in hand.
Not just the compensation, but I think there has to be maybe an increased level of, let's say, emotional stability.
Right.
Like a kind of psychological makeup.
Of course.
And so it's like if they
you can't just pay anybody.
You can't just pay anybody. And I totally agree with you. It's like law enforcement is kind of a necessary job.
It is, yeah. It definitely is. But we, like you said, we got to make sure the right type of people have that job.
And the thing is, somebody like you ask, and everybody likes to talk about training, and everybody likes to talk about the criminal justice system,
right,
and how it kind of gives incentive down the line to kind of lock people up. But I think that's only talking about one side of it. It's like we still have to remember that cops are human, and so sometimes there's not enough training that they can have that will fix their character issues.
Right. And you said that before, because when they put on the uniform, a lot of people recognize it as they are blue.
Yeah.
They're not human anymore. They're police officers. So any kind of negative human traits that they have are gone.
Which is kind of weird, right?
They're police officers, and they're gonna.
But think about you.
They're interested in justice.
But think about that. What is that actually doing? Okay. Let me put it like this. Like, what is that sentiment that paints all police officers as bad? And there was a song made. It's called "Fuck the Police." That what is that doing? That is kind of dehumanizing policemen. That's like putting them all in the bunch. That's taking the humanity away because they put the uniform on. But what's the other side of that? To me, if you say the police are they are faultless because they put the blue uniform on, you're actually doing the same thing, but on the other spectrum. You're actually dehumanizing them because you're taking those traits away that create those conflicts when they're on the job. And that's why it's so surprising when people bring up issues of police brutality, because it's like people don't want to think that those traits transfer into the job. But how can you not? Those traits are with that person.
They often get the benefit of the doubt when things happen, and I don't think they deserve that. They don't deserve that at all just because they're officers. You know, we see that type of mentality if you know somebody personally, but that's the type of mentality across the country for unknown police officers that you've never met before. If they come up into a situation where there's some kind of controversy, they all automatically get the benefit of the doubt, and that's absolutely wrong. We should judge every case based on the details of that case. If it looks funky, then it's probably funky. You know, and it's not just the people that enable the police officers to do what they do and get away with it. It's, you know, governors, it's, you know, the state representatives or U.S. representatives, the president, of course. We see that in Donald Trump. But it's so ridiculous to have that kind of mindset, to establish that kind of environment, because if anybody knows anything about police brutality, then you would know about the settlements. Settlements.
Dang, man, I wouldn't even know you was gonna bring that up, but that's a good point. My goodness, that's a good point.
Cities have to pay out millions and millions of dollars in settlements because a police officer acted a certain type of way, maybe killed somebody, maybe hurt somebody. Whatever the case, it was police brutality. And maybe they didn't get convicted. Maybe they didn't get convicted. Good chance they did not get convicted or even brought up on charges. But then there will be a civil case, or maybe not even a civil case. Before the civil case even comes to fruition, the city will agree on a settlement to the victim or the victim's family. And like I said, this is millions of dollars in settlement fees. So we always hear about Republicans and conservatives talking about fiscally responsible and conserving money, and we can't be spending that much and this and that, right? Why are you spending so much money on police officers that can't act the right way?
See, dog, why do you constantly keep trying to interject common sense, dog? I done told you about that. I done told you about that.